Hello, everyone. This is the Stogie Geek Show. Tonight we're going to smoke something and talk about it. And then we're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff that we've been smoking. And then we even have a segment about cigar etiquette. All that and more coming up on this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I say in slow motion because I've already been drinking too much rum, apparently. We're here. This is episode...
Such is life.
Yes, 46. I'm here with Mark Jr. Welcome, Mark Jr., to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it. Steve's here, but Steve didn't give himself a freaking microphone, so when he talks, he tries to participate, but no one can hear him.
Don't listen to me.
No one can hear him. Maybe we'll get you a microphone. I mean, you're the audio guy. You should.
I didn't think I was worthy.
Well, I told you were going to have a seat at the big table.
I thought that just meant I was going to
Sit there, not necessarily have a microphone. Is that what it
Be
is?
part of it.
All right. Well, Mark knocks over all the cameras.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right. We're going
Keep the comments to a minimum.
You don't want to know how I got these guys.
Oh yeah, we got beads. It's Fat Tuesday, so I mean, what's Fat Tuesday if you don't have beads? And cigar. And speaking of a cigar, the one that we are smoking today is. Hold on, I'm going to bring it up here. I'm very disorganized tonight. We're not all with it tonight. An EP Carrillo Short Run Vintage Grande. This is from the Dominican Republic. It's an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Excuse me, an unknown binder. I don't know. It's from the origin of unknown, the binder.
Sweet.
The filler is Nicaraguan and Dominican. The strength is a medium full. The Vitola is a grande. It's a grande.
It is grande.
It is grande. It's 6.2 by 60. The age on these is apparently 3 years. Boxes of 10 you can get from Cigars International for $75, though I paid much less than that. I probably paid $4 a stick or $5 a stick. I bought them on Cigar Bid, which is Cigars International's online auction site.
Right.
I bought these on auction. Per Tim Margarini's like, hey, look at these. He's like, oh, but they're 60 after. And then I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I ordered them. And then he's like, oh, but they're 60 ring. I'm like, well, I ordered them anyway. And then I smoked one. And I was like, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm like, we should feature it on the show.
It's interesting because, I mean, we've gone at length, ad nauseum, about how we're not big 60 ring guys, right?
Mm.
But I have to say, I'm only about a quarter of an inch, maybe a half inch into the cigar, and it has a tremendous amount of depth to the flavor that I don't. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. This is the first one I've had, as compared to some other 60 rings that I have, where everything's kind of muted.
Yeah, that's what it really surprised me for being a 60 ring.
Right.
You know, as having, like you say, the depth, some really good flavors that came alive in that.
Right,
60
almost
ring.
right away. Yeah, which is cool. It's got a really nice sweetness right off the bat.
Yeah. See, I wasn't on crack when I
No.
smoked it.
Well, that time.
Well, that time. So to make a long story short, more about this cigar. These Handsome Devils were slated to become the initial release by EP Carrillo 3 years ago, but at the time, it wasn't quite what EP was looking for. He's a real stickler for perfection. Instead, they remain nestled in aging rooms, marrying into delicious morsels. And I agree. I think it's a delicious morsel. We'll see how Mark Jr. likes his. Steve is smoking a Cuban cigar because Cubans get really mad when you light them on fire. So don't try and smoke Cubans at home. Or tell people you smoke Cubans when you come here. They'll think you like to light people on fire. I do want to get you a microphone.
You hear me?
Yeah,
You hear me?
Yeah,
It's a
there you
black
go.
ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you smoking? Do you even know? Do you need me to tell you what
This
you're
is-
smoking?
Well, you said what it was earlier.
Oh, let's see if he
and
was
it
paying
says-
attention. Pop quiz.
Oh,
What are you smoking, Steve?
I only know what it says on the wrap. It says Por La Araña.
That's actually a much better guess than we made it first. It's Por La Arañaga.
Por La Arañaga.
That's how I pronounce it. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe
No,
people
that
in the
makes
chat will
sense.
correct me.
They
I'm
will.
Probably
We're
saying
from
it
New
wrong.
England.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It's a Monte Carlo, right?
it is a Paul Larrañaga Monte Carlo.
Cool.
It's like a 6 by 38, I want to say.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah. What do you think of the
It's
flavors?
the Virginia Slims of cigars.
Yeah. What do you think of the flavors so far?
It's nice. It's not too intense. It's definitely more mild than stuff you've been giving me lately. So it's a nice change of pace.
Good.
But it's really good. It's a
Excellent.
nice smoke.
Glad you're enjoying it. Before the show, we were going to derail Tim, and we were going to smoke Cubans because it's Mark Jr.'s birthday this weekend. So I broke out some
30 years
vintage,
old.
some vintage.
All of which made it this far.
Yeah, they will hold them up for the camera. These were vintage Hoyo de Monterrey Churchills from 2001. All three of them did not smoke, so we had to punt. Yeah, let me see that. That's all right. We had to punt on that one, and we went with what Tim wrote up in the show notes. We gave it an honest effort. We tried.
We tried to ruin your day, Tim.
Didn't work out. The gods were against us.
No, they like you today, Tim.
Let's see. So we're going to talk about some Stogies of the week.
We are?
And yeah, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
All right. So, I actually prepared myself for smoking a 60 ring by smoking a couple 60 rings.
There you go.
The first of which was a Padilla Series 68 Golden Bear.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh no, wait! I've got an Ortega Wild Bunch.
yeah, I skipped that one. I'm going to go back to that one.
Oh, okay. You're gonna skip around on me.
Yeah, I
I
am.
don't like this.
It's okay. You'll make it. Keeping you on your toes, baby. It's a 6x60 Gordo. It's Cuban seed Corojo wrapper. Binder and filler Nicaraguan. They claim it's a medium to full flavored. Yeah, like I said, this was an attempt to smoke a 60 ring. I got these through a gentleman on BOTL, I think, and I'm gonna blank on his name, so forgive me. He bought my bait fish. Well, we traded bait fish, and I said, you know what, just send me whatever you feel like, with the full warning that I didn't like them. So I ended up with one of these. So I fired it up for the show. It did have some nice pepper to start. But that dissipated quickly. After that, I had a faint creamy and earthy taste to it. Nothing substantial, nothing with any real depth. Just had some. It seemed like air that was kind of smoke flavored. Is the best way that I could describe it.
I've never heard us describe a cigar that way, but you know what? Some of the stuff I've smoked, that's a very accurate description.
Yeah, it was not in any way unpleasant, but the profile was not what I look for in a cigar by any stretch of the imagination. It just seemed a little muted compared to what I've tried of that original Padilla stuff. The original Padilla stuff is great, and I've had cigars in this line before that are very good as well. But like I said, it was not in any way, shape, or form unpleasant. So if you like 60 rings, give it a shot. Try one.
Why is there no audio? We're talking about our Stogies of the week. So my first Stogie of the week was Cusano, a CRA release from Cusano. This was kind of a Toro-ish size cigar. Had the CRA, guy and the Liberty guy on the band, and it was called the Cusano Freedom, and it had a very light wrapper on it, and it tasted pretty much. I'm going to use your description. It was like air, but with flavors of like tobacco. That's really what it tasted.
Smoke flavored air.
It was awful. It was awful, actually. It had no balance, had no character. It just didn't do it for me.
We've started off with two.
It was really a dud, and there are a couple of Cusanos that I really really like.
Dude, what were those ones that Mark gave us that one time that were great?
I have
Corojo.
one.
That's what they were. They were the Cusano Corojo 97s or something like that.
They could have been. I don't remember that.
Those were good.
I've got the one I talked about on the show that had that charred meat flavor. Those were pretty good.
Charred meat. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to go back to the other 60 ring that I smoked this week. Smoked it last night, as a matter of fact. It's the Ortega Wild Bunch Big Bad John. It is a 6 6/8 by Gordo. It is mammoth cigar.
You felt inferior.
I did.
You showed this cigar to me.
Yeah, Mark gave it to me last week, actually. It was given to him as a sample. He said, smoke this for the show. So I did. It has a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, a binder and filler Nicaraguan. It's a full flavored cigar at $11 a piece. Just a little background on it. This is actually a really interesting project that he's doing this year. It's called the Wild Bunch. There's going to be 12 releases, one monthly. This was the first release. The other one just hit stores this week. But to be more specific, it's the first release of a series of monthly releases planned by Eddie Ortega for 2013. He blended each release with a specific character that he has met in the cigar industry in mind. These releases are all made in the My Father factory in Nicaragua and will be limited to 500 boxes apiece. So they will be very limited as well. Boxes of 20, I believe. So the smoke lies outside of my comfort zone, but it was given to me and I thought it would be a great addition to the show. After all, I had no problem smoking it. I have been a fan of Ortega's releases as of late. This really did surprise me, as a matter of fact. It's potentially in the running for the best 60 ring that I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. It was nicely balanced in terms of spice, pepper, earth. Pepper and earth were really the dominant flavors. But there was also some cocoa and, that would come and go throughout the smoke. I say fiver. That's without a caveat. Like, I think probably anyone would enjoy this smoke.
I mean, for you to say you'd have 5 of the same 60 ring cigar in your humidor, that's saying something.
Yeah, I would buy a fiver of these. They're good. There's not that muted 60 ring character that I've had from a lot of other cigars. Not unlike this. I mean,
you're liking this one too,
this
aren't
is very
you?
good. Yeah.
You get some great flavors in the retro hail.
I get a really nice sweetness out of this cigar.
And a nice little spice coupled in. I think it's a good balance of spice and sweetness I got in the retro hail especially.
Yeah. But that sweetness is very appealing to me right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I smoked a Camacho 10th anniversary Torpedo. This was a nice change of pace smoke. These were released in 2007-ish time frame. So they got some age on them. This is a Corojo wrap cigar, nice flavors, great burn and construction. I mean, it just didn't really pop for me with any exciting, wild flavors, but it was a very enjoyable smoke. I think this is kind of like on the downward trend of being aged out.
How old are these now?
Maybe like 5-6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe older than that. I'm not sure exactly when they came out. The 10th anniversary is a celebration of the 10th anniversary of Camacho cigars and was created by Christian Arroyo. The Corojos used in the 10th anniversary editions are the only authentic Cuban Corojo available according to Camacho. The wrapper, binder, and filler all use this authentic Corojo for a medium to full body. Mine was definitely on the mild to medium side. Like I said, I think because of the age. Stogie Santa, I believe, sold this to me when we were digging out some stuff in the back and came across some of these. Let's see if I can tell when it was released. No. This review was posted in 2009. Got the information from Nice Tight Ash. All in all, not a bad cigar. I would smoke another one. I think I rated it a... Did I rate it a 5? I rated it a 5. I think you can probably find these kicking around in a couple local shops, you know what I mean? And buy a 5. That's what I'm saying. Back to you, Mark Jr.
The EPC Core Line Natural Churchill Especial. These came from a box that I got at the Quad State Herf in New York.
You got a whole box of these?
Yeah, 2011. I won them in a raffle. Yep. It was signed. Very cool thing to win in a prize. Also nice because it forces me to smoke something, again, that's a little bit outside of my
yeah, you don't like Churchills
size.
Generally.
Yeah, they're just not my favorite, yeah. So, this one unfortunately had some construction issues.
Oh, no.
By some, I mean horrible construction issues.
Oh,
it was
no.
very plugged, as a matter of fact. But this was more of a revisit for me, and I'm revisiting them because I like them. This one just happened to be a bad stick, I think. Because
what do you normally think of them, though?
I've always found that core line to be nice, good, reasonably priced.
Yeah.
5 all day cigars.
I find that the flavor notch, like if you envision a flavor as like a dial, dialed down a couple of clicks compared to this and a short run.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
The short runs,
yeah.
like he took the flavor knob and cranked it up. A few notches.
Total cranked it up. Yeah. This is I feel like a much more accessible cigar for like an everyday purpose, maybe for a wider appeal. It does have that Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper that we have on these here. So it does have that a nice sweetness to it. Typically, I remember them being toasty and very nice. In terms of like a cigar to play while you're playing poker or something like that, somewhere in between an angler and a fiver, let's call it. You know what I mean? Like
I remember doing some leaf blowing with my backpack leaf blower and having one of these hanging out of my mouth.
Yeah, and being perfectly cool with it, like
absolutely.
and enjoying it at that time. Yeah, so. I think I burned through the first like 8 or 9 on the golf course.
Yeah, they're a perfect golf course cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Even though I don't golf. If I envisioned myself golfing and what I would smoke while I would be golfing, Steve,
it would be this.
This would be the cigar.
Fair enough.
You could take it up and just.
And I would totally have the world's most ugliest pants if I were to go golfing.
Plaid and shit.
Plaid with the little thing, the sock thing. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm getting a nice toasty change in this cigar. It's like the sweetness is pulled back a little bit, and it's got more of like a toasty, woody flavor to it a little bit. Am I crazy?
No, I'm telling you, man.
I'm really.
This thing makes change-ups.
I can't believe
this
it
is unlike
any
60 ring that you smoke, which is why I wanted to do it on the show. But Tim couldn't make it,
and Mark's not here.
And Tim doesn't like
Stogie Santa.
And Tim doesn't like 60 ring, so I think that's why he put it as this week's smoke because he didn't want to smoke it on the show.
Well, shame on him. He's missing out on
and he still has
a good
one.
Opportunity to branch out a little bit.
He still has one, so I hope he smokes it. And Stogie Santa had some personal issues, so couldn't make it tonight. Instead, we've got Steve.
Yeah, it's a stand-in. You don't want to have just 2 cameras up.
Exactly. I didn't want to change my video shot, so we made Steve sit there in front of the camera. Really, is what it boils down to. And Steve's smoking a Cuban. What do you think of your Cuban cigar?
It's very good. It's I don't want to go out on a limb and say anything.
Go out on a limb and say something ridiculous.
At first, I don't know. Like you guys, a lot of cigars, you find a little spiciness in them, right? So like pretty common thing. Or am I?
Sure, it can be.
I mean,
depending on what they are, yeah. So I got something when I smoked that cigar that still sticks out in my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
seeing if Steve's going to pick up.
Yeah,
on it. Don't spoil it. Let
me try a little more.
Focus.
See if I can figure it out.
Breathe. Don't inhale it. But
we always encourage beginners to do this, to think about what they're smoking.
Stuff you eat and drink and associate it with the flavors in the cigar. You can make guesses, and we'll tell you when you get it right.
Okay.
You got any guesses right now?
Nothing yet.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll check back.
We'll check back.
Sure.
I smoked.
It's kind of fun actually to have a beginner here on the air.
Yeah,
because
it's good. It's good. Tatuaje Black Lancero.
Ooh,
great smoke. Now this is Stogie Santa gifted this to us. Apparently came from Edgar, so our local representative for Tatuaje and EP Carrillo. Coincidentally enough, said that this one was a limited store release. The black label is usually limited in some fashion.
Except for the Petit Lancero, yeah.
The Petit Lancero was their first regular, almost regular. Is that a regular production release?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Typically, the black labels have been the rare, hard to find, shorter production. Yeah, like I said, this one's a limited store release. I couldn't find much information about it. Every time I searched for Tatuaje Black Lancero, it just was like, oh, you mean the Petit Lancero? I'm like, no, I mean the regular Lancero. This is a regular Lancero size, as you can see from the picture. It burned a little fast for my liking. It went down in like an hour. And this is like a 7 by 39, 40 ring Lancero. It's a
legit Lancero.
It's a big Lancero. And it smoked really fast. Didn't burn hot, but it just burned fast. It seemed to be a little underfilled, which is why I think it was burning fast. But never got hot or harsh on me. So it's the classic peat profile, although it's not anywhere near as good as some of the other black label stuff that I've smoked. It was kind of just a good Tatuaje, regular. Like if these were on sale for between $6 and $8, I'd definitely buy a $5.
Yeah.
Which is what my ranking was in this.
But it wasn't mind blowing by any stretch.
It was not mind blowing by any stretch of the imagination.
Bummer.
So,
I like to have my mind blown, like the guy from Sonic.
Back to you, Mark Jr.
This was a welcomed revisit for me. I've been finding myself doing that a little bit lately. I went back to the Quesada España Selección España Corona. This was potentially my favorite cigar from 2011. And I probably haven't smoked one in 6 or 8 months, right? So it's a 5.5 by 42 Corona Ecuadorian Arapiraca. Yeah. Arapiraca.
I think it's
wrapper, binders, Dominican, fillers, Dominican and Nicaraguan. It's medium. They were about $7 a piece, but they were very difficult to find. They were not very widely released in 2011. I'm sure most of you guys know the story, but they were marketed especially, I shouldn't say especially, specifically to the Spanish market to make something that would break in and compete with the Cubans in that market. I don't necessarily think that it's a very Cuban-esque flavor, but it's Cuban-esque in the sense that it's a full-flavored, medium-body cigar.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Would you agree with that, Paul?
Yeah, I find that the draw tends to be snug.
On the Coronas.
On the Coronas and even the short Robustos.
Yeah.
But I also find the flavors to be much better in those two sizes than a Robusto, and they do a Churchill or some
Toro.
other kind. Toro.
I saw a Toro one time, yeah. I definitely thought these were the two best sizes.
Yeah, I did too, but both sizes for me, the draw seems to be snug on the majority of them.
Yeah.
Now, I still bought a box of them.
Me too.
But the draw, but not snug enough. Like, just, it's snug. It's not plugged.
Yeah.
And it's snug enough where you smoke it, like, you're enjoying the flavors, but you're like, well, I wish the draw would just open up a little bit more.
Yeah. Which, funny you should say that. I actually went through 2 to get one that was really good for me to smoke.
But when you get one,
the second one I smoked was fantastic.
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
I said right away the stick showed some pepper, spice, and earth. As stick progressed, it presented leather and a dried fruit sweetness. I don't know if I could have put my finger on it specifically. I think I read a review on the 50% flat tire. He described it as raisins. I don't know if it jumped out to me as blatantly raisins, but it definitely had that like fruity type sweetness.
I like your description of dried fruit sweetness.
Yeah,
I think that's a very accurate description. Yeah. Not quite raisin.
Yeah, it didn't jump out to me as something in particular.
Yeah.
Other than what I said, right? As good as it was, I still think it's losing a little bit of strength right now, which is dangerous to be in the medium and starting to lose some strength.
Because I would smoke them sometimes in the morning. I would smoke these in the morning. It's a little strong to smoke in the morning.
So I'm going to be getting after these pretty regularly now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're still very enjoyable.
I have over a box of the short Robustos.
I have somewhere in the range of 20, and I have like maybe 3 or 4 short Robustos too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's
I've got plenty left of these. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to have to start getting after
We're just going to keep revisiting them on the show. So every week we're going to give you an update.
Just like last week, these are smoking awesome.
Yes. Oh, boy. I smoked a San Latano Oval Maduro Corona.
Wow, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, not a big fan of this Maduro blend. It's not very balanced. The flavors are harsh. I put don't waste your time. For those that care, Ecuadorian Habano Maduro wrapper. It's a Nicaraguan binder, Honduran Nicaraguan, and AJ secret filler. I'm assuming AJ Fernandez, right? San Latano. And the filler. This is a 5x44 Corona. I thought the Corona might be a better size to try in this blend. I had one kicking around because they did like a San Latano
Robusto.
Well, they did a mini event at the local shop where the representative was in.
Oh, really?
And you'd like buy 5 get 3 free kind of thing. There wasn't much else other than that, and they might have had a raffle or whatever.
You had to buy San Latano ovals though.
And you had to buy San Latanos. Yeah. So the oval wasn't bad, so I went back and I bought a bunch of stuff at a greatly reduced discount. I think it's one of those things. You buy 5, you get 3 free, and they take 20% off your purchase. So I mean, you get them cheap, and you talk to the rep about the blends and all that stuff. And I'm still not impressed with the Maduro, and a lot of people don't like. I smoked a couple of larger size Maduros, and I did not like them. Corona wasn't much better. These are $7.80 at MSRP. Boxes of 20 for $156. Yeah. So 50% Flat Tire wrote, somehow the Maduro wrapper seems to have taken much of the complexity and balance that is present in the oval profile and replaced it with a fairly normal Maduro flavors and a bit more strength. I think that sentiment is spot on in my assessment.
Yeah.
So
I haven't tried one. The oval
don't bother.
okay.
The oval, I mean, smoke whatever ovals you picked up, enjoy them. Stay away from the Maduro. That's what I'm saying. Back to you, Mark Jr.
I'm done.
You're done already?
If we had a show 5 days ago, man.
It's messed up, isn't it? I smoked a Nat Sherman Timeless number 452. This is a 4x52 Petite Corona. Would you call that a Petite Corona?
4x52. That'd almost be a Petite Robusta, wouldn't it?
Almost.
4x52.
It's from Nicaragua, and the wrapper's Nicaraguan. Great flavors in this smoke. Nice little punch of spice, pepper, and graham cracker. The draw was tight, and it seemed to want to go out often on me, kind of thing. Like, when I got it lit and got it going, flavors were awesome. And then I'd set it down for not very long. I'd pick it back up, and it seemed like it wanted to go out on me. So it was a little frustrating. I probably should have dry boxed it, put it in one of my travel humidors with no humidification for a while. I want to try more of these, maybe even a larger size like the Robusto, which is I think I bought. So Nat Sherman did an event here locally, which I wasn't able to attend.
I didn't either, but I heard it was a phenomenal.
Everyone seems to be a buzz about the cigars they were smoking in the conversation they had before the event. I guess for an hour before the event, the Nat Sherman representative talked about the cigars, the blends, and let people try a couple different cigars, and that was supposedly really good.
Yeah. I've heard only good things about this line, this new Nat Sherman.
No,
line.
I believe the Timeless is they have a Nicaraguan and a more natural wrapper one. They've got
believe so.
One of the darker. This was the darker wrapper one. I've got a Robusto in this Nicaraguan blend that I want to try. I didn't like the natural one. I thought it was very dry. We reviewed it on the show a while back. So I said try one of these for now. Again, I want to revisit, and I probably will adjust my rating. If one of these smokes really well, I got to imagine that the flavors are awesome. Stogie Santa and Paul Joy actually recommended this one to me and said it was one of their favorites in the Nat Sherman Timeless collection. And Nat Sherman makes a ton of different smokes. I think we've only ever talked about the Timeless here on the show.
We need to fix that probably.
Yeah, we probably need to smoke some of their other stuff.
Yeah.
So, excellent. And that rounds out the smokes for this week. Let's talk about
what was your smoke of the week, right?
My smoke of the week was not on my list, was my Padron 44th Maduro.
That you smoked after the show last week?
After the show last week. That was freaking, it was just, yeah. It was awesome.
It's hard to miss with those.
You can't go wrong with the Padron Family Reserve. Really, any of them are just a really unique, wonderful experience.
Some are better than others, obviously.
Some are better than others, but even in the natural...
But if someone handed me any of them, I would not be disappointed.
Yeah. You have one in your birthday gift pack, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. Which was awesome. Maybe I should show that to some people. We got a 07 Camacho Liberty, a Cameroon Lancero, a red Tubo from Tatuaje, and a 45th Natural.
Now, I'm curious to see what you think about the red Tubo.
Is that a natural?
That's a natural. Right? That's a 45th natural.
Can't wait to try it.
They're really good. I like them.
Yeah. I've only had one of the red Tubos, one of the red Tubos before. Yeah, and I really liked it,
and you said you were interested in more of them, and I probably got at least half a dozen or so more. I've smoked. I bought 2 boxes of them.
Did you really?
I smoked every single one except for my last, 5 or 6 that I have left. So I'm more than willing to trade. Yeah.
We'll work something out, I'm sure.
Absolutely. If you like it. If you don't, maybe don't.
Well, I like the first one, so I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. But I'm going to go with my Stogie of the Week as the Big Bad John. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that even though I smoked the España this week, and I really, really love that cigar, I'm going to go out on the limb and say this was my Stogie of the Week because it really surprised me. I had no expectation to like it as much as I did. Like none whatsoever.
It was the wow factor.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot. So I think I'm going to go with that as my Stogie of the Week.
Nice. How is your EP Carrillo vintage short run? I should say that it does have vintage on the band, and this was a thing done for Cigars International. You can see that on the camera in the middle there. The retrohale on the cigar is awesome.
A sweetness has come back in it, but it's a different sweetness. The first sweetness was kind of like a sugarcane type sweetness.
Yeah.
This has more depth to sweetness. It has more of like
a caramel almost type sweetness I'm getting.
I could go with that. Yeah, like a toasty, caramely type.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm into it. Very into it, actually. I would buy these.
Freaking awesome 60 ring, right?
I would totally buy these. Yeah.
Like not your typical 60 ring at all.
No, not in any stretch of the imagination, but I would totally buy these.
And you can get them cheap now. They're readily, and they're in different sizes too.
Yeah, come in a Corona and a Robusto.
Yeah, you don't have to get the 60 ring. There's a bunch of different sizes, and they're on Cigars International and Cigar Bid, which are sites that I normally don't order from, to be honest with you. But they do sometimes get these weird blends that they'll just buy out a whole lot of, like this, for example. Korea was like, this was supposed to be the first short run, but I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't necessarily know if I want to sell them to everyone. And CI will come in and be like, you know what?
All right, I'll take them.
Yeah, we'll take them all. We'll take every single last one.
Yeah.
You know, give us a couple to smoke. Yep, we'll take all of them. And a lot of times, they're really good cigars.
You know, I don't buy a lot from Cigar Bid. I do buy once in a while from Cigar Bid because once in a while you'll go on there and there'll be an awesome deal on something.
Well, they got Opus X on Cigar Bid too.
Yeah, and rare sizes sometimes. Yeah. So if I go on there and there's like a kick-ass deal on some like rare Opus stuff or like some of the La Aurora Preferidos, sometimes you can get like a whole box of like number one Maduro Preferidos for like $140, right?
Absolutely.
And I'll buy that, and then I'll buy a couple other things to make the shipping more dispersed over the entire order.
Yeah.
And then, it suits its need for me in that way.
Excellent. Our next segment is going to be so much fun because I'm going to change it around. Steve, you're going to have a quiz. The next segment. We're going to quiz you on cigar etiquette. We're going to see how much you've actually picked up from being here in the studio.
Sure.
Watching what you were just doing, I'm not sure how well you're going to do in the quiz.
No, you gotta wait till fall, right? I know. I accidentally poked my sleeve earlier and it fell all over me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so
Paul is a proud wearer of ash.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about cigar etiquette coming up on the next segment of the Stogie Geek Show.
Hey, this is the Doc from the Stogie Fresh 5 podcast, and you're listening to the Geeks, the Stogie Geeks, with Tim and Paul. Kick back and enjoy as the Geeks kick ash each week. Listen in to the regular episodes as they smoke and chat about their weekly list of stogies.